Today is the 12th of January 2024, and this will be our 30th video on some possible questions. Okay, thank you everyone. Okay, I appreciate it a lot who have subscribed to our channel. Okay, if you haven't already, please can you consider subscribing or following or sharing or liking us. If it's not going to cost you anything on the platform, can you consider sharing, liking, subscribing and following us? Okay, if they are going to charge you, please don't. Okay, but before you do that, ask permission from the account holder. If the account is not yours, ask somebody to help you create your own account. Okay, and also it's good because when I upload a video, you get the notification. Is that okay? And then on the comment section I normally write, please follow my notes like script, which is very important. For instance, this is 20:30, okay, which I've got 2:3. So if I'm explaining something and I say 20:3, that doesn't sound right. Okay, so follow the notes, it will help you a lot. Beware of scammers. It's a new year, new tricks, a lot of stuff. Please beware of scammers. That's all I'm going to say. Recap. Watch last video for recap. As I explained, we are looking at different types of questions. So if I want to bring a recap in a similar question, we will never finish the questions we have. Okay, but a few months down the line, some people are going to take these life-changing exams, and I really want them to do well. So I'm trying to expose you to as many questions as I can. There are videos on most of the topics. Okay, so you can go back and watch them if you need help. But and then with the videos come examples. Okay, so if you're not writing an exam in the next few months and you hang around, by the time it's your turn, you would have learned a lot so that you'll be able to go in and hopefully get past the first time. Okay, because that is the main reason why I'm putting up these videos. Now, our starter for today: simplify this ratio in the simple form. Okay, so we've done ratios, we've looked at questions, how to reduce factors. We've done a lot of work on that in the beginning. Okay, so but from time to time I still want to bring some of these things because at times students do forget, and then they are solving a question, and then when they are supposed to apply what they've learned, they don't know what to do. One, because they've not practiced, and two, they haven't looked at questions and look at some of the principles. Okay, so today starts our warm-up. I just wanted to bring some figures so that you reduce it to the lowest form. The lowest form means it can't go any further, okay, but it's in a ratio form, not in a fraction form. Okay, so you have 20 is to 30. So if you divide 20 by 10, it becomes 2. And if you divide 30 by 10, it becomes 3. So the lowest form of this ratio, 20 is to 30, will be 2 is to 3. You can't go any further to keep them as whole numbers. Okay. Now here you have 45 and 1 is to 135. Okay. Now it's easy to see because if you double 45, you will get 90. And if you add 45 to 90, it becomes 135. Okay. So if you divide 45 by 45, you are going to get 1. If you divide 135 by 45, you get 3. So 1 is to 3 will be the lowest. In the other way around, if you multiply 1 by 45, you can go back to 45. And if you multiply 3 by 45, it goes back to 135. Okay. You can try it on your calculator. Now here again, 71 is to 355. Okay. Look at 71. You have 1 and you have 5. Okay. So the only way you can get a 5 is to multiply by 5, multiples of 5. So I would rather multiply 71 by 5 and see if it gives me 355. If it does, then, so assuming I'm solving an equation in a calculator paper, okay, I'll look at the number at the end and see. So I'll just do times 5. So if you divide 71, if you multiply 71 by 5, okay, you get 355. So now if I divide 71 by 71, I get 1. And if I divide 355 by 71, I'm going to get 5. Try it on your calculator and see. Okay. Now 87 and 435. Okay. Now 7 times 5 is 35. 80 times 5 will give me 8 times 5 is 32. 8 times 4 is 32. And 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, so straight away I can see the link. So I'm going to divide 435 by 87. Okay, so 87 divided by that times 5 will give me 435. So to the lowest number, it will be 1:5. Okay, so these are some of the tricks you can have under your sleeve to help you with factors. Okay, if not, like assuming you have 20 over 30, then you are going to say, I'm going to half it. So you get 10 and 15, and then you divide by 5. At times, under some condition, you wouldn't have time to do that. But I guess by looking at the numbers, you can figure out easily how you can reduce it to the lowest form. Okay, so this is our warm-up, our mental maths, let me call it that way. Okay, so watch it again and just think about it. Okay, take a few minutes, think about it, and then try some numbers for yourself. Okay, now today I have an example. It's like a trial and an improvement example, which we did one before I went on we went on the Christmas holidays. Okay, it's in one of the videos. It's a trial and improvement, which came, I think, in a range or something, which we did, but I use it to explain it to you. But normally, these questions, you are supposed to do 1 or 2 trials, otherwise you lose all the mark. So before you answer the question, you might have to take a bit of time, like a minute or 2, to think how to approach it. Okay, now if you are not sure what you are doing, I'll rather let you leave that question to the end, because you can always come back to it. There are simple questions that you can do that can earn you the marks, that you can collect a lot of marks. Okay, so I would rather, if you are not sure of this, because if you do a lot of trial and error, you are going to lose all the marks, 4 marks or 5 marks. So I'll rather leave it and then come back, think carefully about it before you do it. Okay, now a rectangular garden has a length of 40 meters and width of 25 meters. Okay, this measurement is given to the nearest whole number. So it means it could have 39.5 or 24.5. Okay, because it's been given to the nearest whole number. And also it could have like 44.5 and 34.5. It could be in that range. Okay, so we've been given this the nearest whole number, so you have to consider the lower boundary and the upper boundary. Another garden has area of 970 meters, and this is also given to the nearest 10 meters. So this also, to get this the nearest 10, you can either have it as 965 to 975 for you to get this. Okay, it will be in that range. Okay, That will be the lower and the upper boundary. Okay, so if you don't understand some of these things, you can leave it nicely and come back to it, because there are a lot of things on the paper that you can do, and then these ones, the 4 marks, but don't rush and waste time and do it, and then you don't get the marks. And then also the ones you don't also do that. Okay, now the second garden is larger as assumed by the owner. So the owner whose garden has been given to the nearest 10 meters feel hers is larger than the one who has the length and the width to the nearest whole number. Okay, now they said show working if the second owner is right. Okay, now if you look at this, the figures they've given you, the first garden, the area will be 40 times 25. Okay, assuming you are supposed to find the area, but we don't know the exact length and we don't know the exact width. It's been given to the nearest whole number. So what would be your first line of action? I wouldn't do that. I'll find the lowest boundaries for 40 meters and 25 and multiply. So if I do that with the first garden, I have 39.5, okay, times 24.5, which will give me 967.75 meters. That will be the minimum for the first garden. Now the maximum it can be will be 40.5 times 25.5, which will give you 1,032.75 meters. So the first garden will be, the area will be in the range of 967.75 meters and 1032.75 meters for it to be given the nearest whole number, for it to have the nearest whole area of 1,000 meters. Okay, so that will be my first step. Now if I look at this boundary, okay, if it is 967.75, that will be the minimum. Then this garden, okay, the first garden is smaller than the second. But if it is 1032.75, then the first garden will be larger. Okay, but in the second garden also, we are told the area 970 is given to the nearest 10 meters. So it also means that this is the nearest 10 meters. So it can mean that the second garden is between 965 meters and 975 meters squared. Okay, it's area, so it's meters squared. Okay, so if you look at this, okay, so if it is in the higher boundary of 975 meters squared, then the second garden is larger. Okay, no. Then the first garden is in the lowest boundary. Then and the second garden is larger. But if that, because this is the highest it can be for the first garden, okay, but if this will be the largest garden, so when you look at it strictly, and its lowest boundary will be 965 meters squared. Okay, so if you look at it strictly, the first garden might be bigger. Okay, it might be bigger. Okay, so I will take I will say they might be wrong. It might be bigger by some few meters meters squared. Okay, so I will say that the first garden, because even if I look at the boundaries for the first, okay, and the boundaries for the second, the first boundary is 967.75, okay, and to 1032.75 meters squared, and the second boundary is for the second garden is 965 meters squared to 975 meters squared. If you look at that, unless we take the minimum value of the first garden, then there is no way that the second garden will have a chance of being larger. Okay, so that would be my explanation for this question. Okay, so you can do this calculation, this minimum for the first, minimum for the second, and say that you cannot tell, or no, I think there is no way, because the first garden will still be a little bit, if you look at the minimum values, it will still be a little bit more. Okay, so that will be our first question, which has to do with trial and improvement. Now our second question has to do with proportional, which I did a video on before we started looking at questions. Okay, so please look at it. So the example is y is directly proportional to r squared. Okay, so now we said that this is the proportionality sign here. So y is directly proportional to r squared. If you introduce a constant, then it's y equals kr squared. Okay, so now when r is 4, y will be 24. So when r is 4, y will be 24. So we'll substitute it into this y equals kr squared to find the constant. So if you put y is 24 and r is 4, okay, our k becomes 3/2. So now our real equation will be y equals 3/2 r squared. Okay, now find the value of r when y is 1350. So we know what the constant is, 3/2. That is what we just found here. Now we have a value for y. We are supposed to find r. So now we put the equation, the values we have, back into this equation that we've created. Okay, so y is 1350 equals k that we just found, 3 over 2. And we want the values of r, but we know that it's proportional to r squared, so r will be r squared. So now we just have to solve. Okay, if you've been with me from the beginning, when I'm solving, I take my time. Okay, but I'm assuming I'm giving less doing videos for people who have started right from the beginning, so you can go back and see how we solve this, because at this point there is no point again doing those step by step, because we've learned them. Okay, so now if you look at this equation, multiply both sides by 2, or move the 2 to this side. So now you have 2 times 1350 will be 3r squared. So r squared will be 2 times 1350 over 3. If you do that correctly on a calculator, because it's a calculator paper, r squared will be 900. But we don't know what r is. We don't know what is a length. So if I want r, it will be the plus or minus the square root of 900. So in this case, we are going to put the two values. So r can be plus 30 or minus 30. Okay, so that will be our answer. We are not going to say, because we don't know whether r is a length or what. We've just been told y is proportional to r squared. We don't know what the r is, so we can't take one answer and leave the other. We give the two answers. Okay, now look at the second method. Assuming you've not done proportionality, okay, the first statement says y is directly proportional to r squared. So with the first statement, I can write r squared divided by 4 squared, because they said when r is 4, y equals 24. So r squared, okay, is 4 squared for y, because y is directly proportional to r squared. Okay, so here I'll find the value of r when y is 1350, and then I'll equate both. So I have r squared equals y squared. Okay, and then step 2, r squared equals 4 squared will be equal to 1350 divided by 24, because I'm told again, when find the value of r when y is that. So because r is on the top, then my value for r now I'll put on the top, and then this is my y. This is my y 4 squared. Okay, so r squared over 4 squared will be equal to 1350 over 24. Okay, so now I get to solve for r squared, so I don't need to add a constant. I hope you understand that. If you look at the question, they've given you r equals 4, y equals 24. And then now they want you to find r. And so you have, in one case, when r is 4, y is 24. Now find r again when y is 1350. So you just equate them. Okay, so here you can do 4 squared over r squared equals 24 over 24 over 1350. Or you can do it the other way around. You still get your answer. So here we make r the subject. If r is the subject, r squared the subject, sorry. So if r squared becomes the subject, then I can put 4 squared, move 4 squared to this side of the equation. So now I have r squared equals 1350 over 24 times 4 squared. Now if you do this correctly on the calculator, r squared equals 900. So r will be plus or minus square root of 900. So again, you are going to get plus 30 or minus 30. Okay. So that is if you've not done proportional maths work. So you can just use the value, equate to each other, and then solve for r. Straightforward. Okay. But if you've done proportionality, then you can put in a constant, as we did in the first method. Find the constant, put it back into the proportional equation, use your second information, and find r. The only difference here is we don't know what r is, so we are going to give 2 answers for r. So r will not just be positive 30 or minus 30, because minus 30 all squared will give us 900. So is 30 all squared will give us 900. So at the end of the day, r will have 2 values. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me in today's videos. Please subscribe, share, like, and follow us. Okay, I'll appreciate it a lot. Thank you for joining me in today's lesson, and I'll see you in the next.